yet again.
To the Wellesley College Record. I have been busy trying to get some raw material in shape for you. And this report is late because the raw material has been teething.
Ethel concentrated on the children, 3 now that a daughter, Phoebe, had been born.
We keep open house for all who pass. When did you eat last is the correct greeting.
One of the writers who came through was a chap named Bill Grace, and he had been rather lively as a young man and had killed somebody and had been sent to the penitentiary for it. But he was a decent sort, and as my father said, the man needed killing anyway. But we little boys who were about 10 or 11 years old, and we were kind of awed to be in the presence of this murderer. And it just happened that that day that he was at the ranch, we had been out in the castle gardens and had found an enormous rattlesnake. It was 5 feet 9 inches without the head. And that's how big, rattlesnake. And it was beautiful, and we skinned it out because we wanted the skin. And then we saw all this beautiful meat, and we thought, well, it'll make a good supper. So we brought it in, and Mother took the bones out of it and creamed it and served it on toast. And it was good, and everybody was delighted with it, especially Bill Grace, who hadn't had anything like that probably in his life. We boys were told not to say anything about this being rattlesnake meat, because it might offend Bill. So we didn't, but we couldn't really quite stay away from the thought, and so we were talking about rattlesnake meat and how good it could be, and Bill Grace struck his fist on the table, and he said, if anybody fed me rattlesnake meat, I would kill him. And there was a dead silence, and then Mother passed the plate of rattlesnake meat and said, have some more chicken, Bill.
As the years passed, there were still more setbacks. Fire destroyed one of the ranch buildings. A Wyoming oil boom passed them by. One year, shipping cattle to Omaha ended up costing Love $27 more than he sold them for. Disease took another sheep herd. A bank failed, and with it went the family savings. John and Ethel Love stayed on at Muskrat Creek for 37 years and watched their children grow, go off to college, and succeed. Phoebe became a chemist, Alan a design engineer, and David a geologist.
When they left the ranch for the final time, they really had no choice. They were both sick, they couldn't get any help. The cattle business was being bureaucratized, and their future on the ranch was nothing. So they were resigned to their fate, knowing that they weren't going to live much longer. Mother particularly, when she left, she said, at least I left it clean for the next people.
John Love died in 1950. Ethel joined him in 1959.
I think a lot about my father, and in many ways he is typical of the survivors. After the 1919 winter that pretty much wiped us out, he and I both had to learn to walk again because we had Spanish influenza and we were sickle winter. I can still remember us standing together, each leaning on the other, the 6-year-old boy and the 50-year-old man, and his saying, "Well, laddie, we can make it." So, of course, we did.
Whenever the white man treats the Indian as they treat each other, then we will have no more wars. We shall all be alike, brothers of one father and one mother, with one sky above us and one country around us and one government for all. Then the Great Spirit, who rules above, will smile upon this land, and all people may be one people. Hin Matu Yalat Kekt has spoken for his people.
I think of Chief Joseph as the peacemaker. He's a man of peace. He abhors violence. He doesn't want to fight. I will fight no more forever. He was always a peacemaker. And Lord knows he was provoked. Another kind of man could not have remained in control of himself, in possession of himself. And one of Joseph's great characteristics is that he was always in possession of himself.
25 years after fighting his reluctant war with the United States, Chief Joseph was still longing to return to his beloved Wallowa Valley in eastern Oregon. Twice he went to Washington, D.C. and met with Presidents Rutherford B. Hayes and William McKinley. Whenever he spoke, he impressed people with his eloquence and his simple plea for justice. The soldiers who had fought against him became his friends. Buffalo Bill Cody invited him to the ceremonies dedicating Grant's tomb in New York City and called him the greatest Indian America ever produced. The white settlers of the Wallowa Valley even named a town for him. But his people's land was not returned.
Let me be a free man. Free to travel, free to stop, free to work, free to trade where I choose, free to choose my own teachers, free to follow the religion of my fathers, free to think and talk and act for myself, and I will obey every law or submit to the penalty. Chief Joseph.
He stayed